morning, everyone. It is great to see everyone. It truly is a fantastic day at Cuesta College, and it's a pleasure to welcome you here this morning. I want to give a special shout out to Cuesta Jazz for an amazing start to the day. Always appreciate hearing such uplifting tunes as we begin. We're going to start this morning with a land acknowledgement. We collectively acknowledge that Cuesta College occupies the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of both the Salinan and the Northern Chumash, who are the original, current, and future caretakers of the land upon which we, as guests, work, teach, and learn. Please join me in extending a special welcome to our trustees. Joining us today, our board president, Dr. Deborah Stakes, Mr. Pat Mullen, and immediate past board president, Mrs. Mary Strobridge. Thank you for your service and commitment to Cuesta College. We really appreciate you spending time with us today. I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Clint Wyrick, representing State Senator John Laird. And we are expecting another special guest, but I have not seen her, but we also want to welcome the Director of Community Relations from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, Mrs. Courtney Kenow. Just a couple of logistics. As you are aware, the restrooms are located in the lobby, and you are welcome to excuse yourself at any time, and we will not be taking a break over the next couple hours this morning. In the event of an emergency, there are 2 vestibules located halfway through the audience that will take you to hallways that lead out of the building. Congratulations. The Aspen Institute recognized Cuesta College for the first time as a top 150 community college with an invitation to apply for the 2025 $1 million Aspen Prize. There's more on this later, but I wanted to give special to Dr. Coria, Dr. Kahane, Dr. Curtis, and Dr. Cartnell, who worked with me to draft, refine, and submit the application before the tight December 12 deadline. Our opening day convocation is a celebration and opportunity to look forward. We will welcome our newest employees, recognize and honor our award recipients, receive area updates from the vice presidents, enjoy an overview of the Jedi Academy and outcomes, and then wrap up in time for the all faculty meeting and area meetings, which will lead into a fantastic lunch from Chapala, which is back by popular demand. So a special thank you to our marketing department for the video introduction of our newest employees, and thanks to Lynn, our graphic designer, for the stunning new graphics.
Hello, my name is Maria Elena. I go by Elena, and I'm the Library Tech 3.
My name is David Baker, and I'm a new computer technician here at Cuesta College.
My name is Delaney Burke, and I am the Library Technician 2.
John Clark, Network Administrator.
My name is Kasia Crowley. I'm the Clerical Assistant for the MESA program.
Jose Real Garaviz, Community Engagement Program Specialist.
Hi, I'm Daniela de la Torre Garcia, and I'm the new Bilingual Enrollment and Success Specialist.
Ron Gordon, new nighttime janitor.
I'm Heidi Kimbrell, and I'm an accountant technician too.
Hi, I'm Daisy Paniago Uribe. I'm the coordinator for admissions, registration, and outreach services.
Lucy Rodriguez, foster youth coordinator. I'm Paul Rigby. I'm the Division Assistant for the Library and Student Development and Success.
Hi, my name is Rabia Shabazz. I am the new Department Assistant at the Student Life and Leadership Office here at Cuesta College, San Luis Obispo.
Hi, my name is Melissa Swagger, and I'm the new Division Assistant for Biological and Physical Sciences.
Hi everyone, my name is Isaac Valdez, and I'm the Student Support Resolution Coordinator.
I'm Danny Vogel, and I'm the new DSPS Accommodations Assistant.
Hi, my name is Luis Ayala, and I am the EOPS Care and CalWorks Counselor.
Ryan Bernard, Chemistry Instructor.
Marilyn Cleaves, Instructor, Computer Information Systems.
Gregor Enlow, Men's Water Polo Coach.
My name is Christine Feld, and I'm a full-time nursing instructor in the Allied Health and Nursing Department.
Hi everyone, my name is Matthew Fox. I'm one of the academic counselors.
My name's Gary Geary. I'm a part-time instructor in engineering and technology, teaching an architecture course.
Hi, I'm Marie Goritz. I'm a biology part-time instructor.
Hal Green, Instructor of World Religions.
Daniel Guardiola, Medical Assistant Instructor.
My name is Philip Johnson. I go by PJ, and I'm part-time faculty. I teach English and literature.
Nicole Land, Branch Management Program Instructor.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Lowe. I'm part-time faculty for the library.
Hi, my name is Denora Medina. I'll be with counseling, helping as a part-time counselor.
Hi, I'm Javier Medina, and I'm the new Economics Instructor.
Hey everybody, I'm Jesse Sanford, and I'm going to be a part-time education instructor.
Hi, my name is Cassandra Swartzwelder, and I am a part-time librarian here at Cuesta College.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Timms, part-time instructor with ceramics.
Antonia Tway, academic counselor.
Hey y'all, my name is Shamika Wilson. I'll be a part-time ethics studies instructor.
Hi, I'm Kristen Nielsen, and I'm the Director of Continuing Education.
Neelam Patel, Human Resource Analyst.
Sara Sanchez, MESA Director.
Let's acknowledge our new employees. I have to tell you, it was very exciting to also not only have our new part-time faculty orientation this week, but to also have a faculty orientation for our new tenure track faculty joining us mid-year. It was outstanding. We're going to move into our recognition now and begin with the Elaine Holley Coates Service Excellence Award. This is named in honor of the first classified employee of Cuesta College. The Elaine Holley Coates Service Excellence Award recognizes distinguished performance and excellence in service at Cuesta College. The nomination comments included: they consistently exceed expectations, going above and beyond their duties to ensure the seamless functioning in their area. Their reliability and readiness to assist in any situation are a testament to their exceptional work ethic and dedication to the college. Their perseverance and determination were pivotal in overcoming numerous hurdles. Their invaluable contributions are marked by unwavering commitment and outstanding performance. There are 2 recipients of the award this year. An example of their collaboration and service comes from Saturday, March 18th, 2023. Multiple employees attending a Cuesta softball game alerted that there was a significant water issue erupting in Lot 1A. Without hesitation, these employees immediately responded to campus, where they found there was no valve to stop the water, and it forced an immediate shutoff of water to the entire campus. Through ingenuity, perseverance, and refusal to give up despite numerous hurdles, They were able to control the flow, and after several hours of effort, they fit a new valve into the line. The long, wet day of intense effort was completed just in time to restore water and allow the CPAC performance scheduled that evening to proceed. Because of their unfaltering commitment, the show did go on. The recipients of the Elaine Holley Coates Service Excellent Award are Supervisor of Grounds, Scott DeMello, and Supervisor of Skilled Maintenance, Bob Richerson.
Did I not see my family up there? Well, thank you for whoever was involved with this. I appreciate it. One thing I want to say is that as a supervisor, you can't be a great supervisor without having a great crew. And my crew is absolutely amazing. That's Steve Marinelli, Ricardo Campos, Tommy Ginn, Gerardo Morales, and Mark Carroll. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I didn't see this coming. I'd like to thank, I always say that a great manager is great because of the staff and the support staff that we have here at Cuesta College. And I'd like to thank my staff, and I'd like to thank all of you because you make my job easier for me. Thank you very much.
Chair of the Faculty Professional Development Committee, Dr. Matthew Davis, will present the Adjunct Excellence in Teaching or Service Award.
The Faculty Professional Development Committee, working with CCFT, established the Adjunct Excellence in Teaching or Service Award to recognize the outstanding contributions of our adjunct faculty in supporting student success and, in particular, to recognize those individuals who demonstrate an exceptional commitment to ongoing professional development, presenting the first award in 2022. We recognize that many of our adjunct faculty are deserving of this award. Adjunct faculty are the backbone of this institution and often work under trying circumstances. As such, we wish we could offer it to more than just one individual. Making our final determination this year was difficult as we ended up with 5 exceptional nominees to consider. I wish we could give the award to all of them. The individual selected to receive this year's award was recognized for taking on a variety of teaching roles within their program, creating entirely new classes, modifying courses for instruction in new modalities, and generously sharing teaching materials with newer adjunct faculty. This instructor has taught both synchronously and asynchronously, opting during the pandemic to take on the additional work of teaching by correspondence to continue to serve students at the California Men's Colony. His devotion to better serving our students at the CMC is also evident in his advocacy for inclusion of CMC students in the Student Equity Plan, his thoughtful framing of how we could use demographic data of our CM students more effectively, and in his service for 2 years as the CMC faculty coordinator. He also, according to one recommender, quote, serves as a mentor to his students, providing letters of support and recommendation, and connecting students with positive role models, resources, and opportunities to reduce recidivism among students who parole. His commitments to ongoing professional development are impressive. He participated in the 2nd cohort of the Jedi Academy on curriculum and teaching, and has led a flex session devoted to helping other CMC faculty better connect their students to Cuesta resources and services. He was recognized by one of his recommenders for being, quote, a remarkable servant leader who approaches his role as a faculty member with humility and a willingness to do what needs to be done in service to students, equity, and our campus community, end quote. Oftentimes helping behind the scenes with little recognition, contributing to the ethnic studies teach-in, the Poder mentorship program, serving as a member of and secretary for the Latina Leadership Network, tabling at the community-centered forum on local policing, promoting his division at Promise Day, and countless other activities. It is with great pleasure that I recognize Alex Espinoza-Kulick, instructor in Addiction Studies, Social Work, and Human Services with the Adjunct Excellence in Teaching or Service Award. Congratulations, Alex.
Thank you so much. It's a little overwhelming to be up here, but I do just want to say, it means a lot to me to work here, to serve our county and region in the incredibly important work of providing a robust and meaningful education to adult learners and young people of all ages. I just feel really lucky and fortunate to work with so many other folks who participate in this work and make it possible. I want to say thank you to my husband, Dr. Mario Espinoza-Kulick, and main collaborator. I also want to say thank you to our union for representing part-time faculty and the work that we do. I wouldn't have taken on all of the things that I've done or been able to contribute if there weren't other part-timers who demonstrated that it's okay to go above and beyond, and even if you're not always asked or included to participate in things, to show up and be passionate and care about our students, especially in our division, which includes a lot of part-time faculty who all do that and go above and beyond every day. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate it, and I feel so blessed right now. So I just want to say thank you again. Thank you.
Please welcome Academic Senate Council President, Dr. Alex Kahane, who will present the Peter and M.A. Diffley Award for Faculty Excellence.
Good morning, everyone. This year's recipient of the Peter and M.A. Diffley Award for Faculty Excellence, I think, will be immediately obvious as soon as I start to read probably the first two sentences of this kind of very, I think it's brief considering information got you guys might think it's a little long, summary of some of the reasons why this person was chosen. So this person has 14 years of experience and dedication as a professor in the Cuesta biology department. Each semester, he teaches many sections of one of the most popular courses in the bio division, microbiology. The 5-unit course has an intensive lab and lecture designed for students pursuing medical and science careers. When it's time to head the class, he dons his lab coat and is always ready for showtime, as his colleagues have come to call it over the years. His version of showtime is a gift to the college and their students. It does not take the students long to learn that they are taking a course from a top-rate professor with a wealth of experience. Each semester, he crafts new case studies meant to teach students beyond rote memorization and foster application of content. There's always a new medical mystery to help students learn to diagnose a pathogen and explain specifically how they come to a conclusion in the information provided. Students often comment that he takes a holistic approach to teaching his students. He's vested in making sure that students are not only learning about microbiology, but they are learning in a safe and inclusive and equity-minded space. He checks in on his students to make sure they know about resources on campus, such as health, food, student success, and more. You can hear his commitment to helping the whole student, not only by observing how he treats people, but also in the themes that he covers in his course. His classes are not just an opportunity to teach students lab techniques and lecture facts, but also to emphasize the big picture when it comes to microbial impacts. His contributions to Cuesta College and his faculty excellence extend beyond the confines of his microbiology classroom. He not only addresses environmentally relevant topics in his classes, he has also created opportunities for Cuesta students to engage in environmental research within Morro Bay. One research project is done in collaboration with the Morro Bay National Estuary Program and focuses on understanding how a marine microbe may contribute to eelgrass population declines in Morro Bay. He's also collaborated to develop a water quality lab and fellowship for Cuesta College biology students. Giving undergraduate students a chance to experience how research is conducted and providing unique opportunities for students to engage in real research projects is critical to a STEM student's success. Not only does it further their education, but it gives them experience to further their future careers. Often the most important outcome and least tangible one is the STEM community that develops while students are participating in research projects. It truly builds confidence and reinforces a student's sense of identity as a STEM major. Designing and implementing these programs on a community college campus takes time, dedication, and intentionality. He has truly been a motivational force on all fronts for STEM students. Please join me in celebrating the 2024 recipient of the Peter MMA Diffley Award for Faculty Excellence, Dr. Silvio Favoreto.
Thank you, everybody. This is product of, I think, 10 years of having fun here at Cuesta College. Yeah, thank you.
Let's congratulate one more time all of those honored today. I'm pleased to welcome Assistant Superintendent Vice President of Instruction, Dr. Jason Curtis, to provide an update.
Can we make that one work? Yeah, good. Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't like being tied. One more time. I don't like being tied to the podium, so. I guess I get to go first of the vice presidents today. So happy opening day, everyone. Welcome to a new spring semester, and most importantly, happy Friday before a 3-day weekend, right? I guess I need a clicker. I'd like to start off by giving you a brief update about our work on the mission, vision, and values. It's true, we have been at this for over a year now, not quite following the process in the integrated planning manual, but continuing to work through it. And I think we're nearing the end of this process. A draft was presented to Academic Senate in November, and we collected feedback from Senate, and that feedback's now being incorporated, and the final steps are it will go back to Senate for a second read, hopefully be approved by Senate, and then we'll go to College Council, and College Council makes the recommendation to Dr. Stearns to take the mission, vision, and values to the board. I'm hoping that that happens at the March meeting. So if you remain interested in that process, you're gonna have a couple more looks at it over the next 2 months. Okay, now I'd like to move on to the part that usually falls to me, and that's enrollment. And I decided to go back to a slide that I showed you all, those of you who were here, 4 years ago. And this slide shows our head count over the history of the college. And it's a pretty interesting plot of our head count, I think. It shows, you can see back in 2010 when the college actually hit 10,000 FTES during the academic year, earned an extra $1 million from the state for the size of the college, but then immediately fell due to some accreditation troubles and state budget issues, and sort of reached this low point. And I think 4 years ago, when I was interim vice president, I made a joke that the college hired a very wise and astute dean of math and sciences around this time, and grew rapidly afterwards. And that was January 20, so I guess the pride comes before the fall, right? So if we add the next 4 years onto this graph, we know that we moved the college fully online 2 months later. And you can see the effect of the pandemic on our head count. Interestingly, as much as we dropped over the first 2 years, we didn't drop as low as we had been back in 2013. So just to summarize, fall 19, we were very near an all-time high. I think it was our 4th highest fall semester ever. The pandemic triggered a drop about 17.5% over the next 2 years in head count, unduplicated head count. That head count has been slow to recover over the past 2 years since fall 21. I think we can cite the fact that the economy, the state and the national economy has recovered, and that may seem weird to you, but remember that unemployment rates seem to mirror our enrollment. And so when unemployment is down, lots of people working and lots of people don't need community college. And so we tend to see our enrollment also being down. The demographics of our county certainly play a role. There have been fewer high school graduates over the last couple years, and that's expected to continue, just a demographic thing. And the state made the decision to close most of the west side at the California Men's Colony. And that took about 100, 150 students out of our enrollment when the state made that decision last year. Okay, but that's head count. So what about our FTES, our full-time equivalent students? I also showed you this graph, or at least the first 5 bars of this graph 4 years ago. And the point of this is really to show you that the major part of each of these bars, the big light green part on the bottom, is our traditional credit, our traditional offerings. And then I've pulled out a couple other categories that make up the upper portion of each of these bars. And the point back then 4 years ago was that these other things were making up more and more of our FTES. And in fact, if you look at just the top of the light green portion, it had been declining a little or kind of staying steady over those 5 years. So then you can now see what happened during the pandemic. The light green bars dropped over the first 2 years, much like our head count did. Look what happened to things like emeritus, which was this dark blue band in between here, got very thin, almost disappeared. They didn't want us in senior centers early in the pandemic trying to teach non-credit courses, as it turned out. Dual enrollment dropped. High school students who were already doing high school online weren't too interested in making that also a college course. Supervised tutoring, ooh, I messed that up. This one's supervised tutoring, that one's emeritus. Same story, right? Students weren't coming on campus to the Student Success Centers. We were doing tutoring via Zoom, but that was much harder to track those hours, so we were getting a lot less FTES from supervised tutoring. And then finally, CMC, similar problem. CMC has not really been able to come back because of the closure of the west side, but that's not withstanding the great work being done by our faculty at CMC. Congratulations to Alex for his work out there, and also to Chef Field and Chef Yates, the folks in the culinary program who continue to keep that going at CMC. Dual is coming back. You need to remember at this point of the year that a lot of our high school classes are actually full year courses, and we count them as fall but there are still students enrolling in what we call a fall class because it goes for the entire high school year. So some of those high school teacher-led classes, this blue bar here is gonna get thicker. Okay, just to make it clear what I'm doing here between these two slides, all I'm doing is trimming off the bottom part of this so that we can see a little bit more clearly what the top part of these bars looks like. I am not trying to make the differences between the height of the bars look bigger. That's just a side effect of it. But I want you to be able to really take in the drop during the pandemic and our recovery that is now underway. So again, supervised tutoring, dual enrollment, emeritus, and CMC, our justice impacted students. And dual enrollment last year, the size of this blue block here is bigger than this one. Last fall was a record for dual enrollment for Cuesta College. Okay, so here's the summary of all that. The pandemic effect was about a 14.5% drop in our FTES. We have started to build that back, bringing back face-to-face offerings. Obviously things like auto technology and welding go much better when they're face-to-face. We have a number of other programs that are like that. So as we've been able to bring those back in a face-to-face modality, we've seen the enrollment return, the FTES has returned. A number of new programs, which I've talked about previous semesters, things like aviation maintenance. We have a new accelerated RN program that just launched this month, and classes will start on Tuesday in that program. I also want to make sure and recognize, you know, the college has worked over the last 2 years, I want to check my notes on this, on bringing ethnic studies to the college. And this is a statewide effort to make ethnic studies a graduation requirement. The college took the step a year and a half ago of hiring 2 full-time faculty in ethnic studies. And just so you know, the enrollment in ethnic studies last spring, we got 18 FTES from ethnic studies. We currently now have 57 FTES enrolled in ethnic studies. So I'm very proud of our ability to meet the demand there, and that our investment in that program is paying off, and those programs are growing. As I already mentioned, also CCAP and dual enrollment have now surpassed the pre-pandemic levels and continue to grow as well. The final 2 bullets of this slide wanted to highlight something that's probably important to almost everyone, because it has to do with our agreements with our bargaining groups, and that is that traditional credit in the fall grew by 3.65%, which is great. It's great for everyone, as it turns out, and we're very excited by that number, and it's great to see our FTES and our enrollment coming back. Having said that, FTES for spring, not just traditional credit, but overall, although traditional credit mirrors it, is up 14% from last spring. I'm glad you're applauding. We need to take a second and talk about this, because I'm always emotionally conflicted. I think you know that. But in particular around this, there's part of me that is yes, and part of me that is, So community colleges have been hit by a lot of fraud during the pandemic. And what happens is, because community colleges, it's easy to apply online, everyone gets in. Bad actors in the US and elsewhere in the world create fake accounts. They apply to community colleges, they sign up for courses, they pretend to be California residents, and they get financial aid, and there's no real student behind that application. A check goes somewhere, and those people use that money and they never attend class. They never had any intention of attending class. So did I expect our enrollment to be up this spring? Yes, probably on the order of 5-6%. Like I said, we've added a lot of new things, and that's great. I'm concerned about the size of that number. I hope it's real. I will celebrate harder than anyone if that's the real number. I'll celebrate if it's 12%, to be honest. But I just want everyone to be really aware of this as they hear about our enrollment numbers this spring. Take it maybe with a grain of salt, and for the faculty in the room, and I've already talked with Academic Senate and the union about this, it's gonna be more important than ever if you're a faculty member teaching a fully online class to really do that assignment the first week. Figure out, make sure all of those students are real and actively participating, because we got to get them out of there before the census rosters so that we accurately report our enrollment to the state. Okay, that's kind of depressing for something that should have been good, but you know, I try to keep it real up here. Okay, so I mentioned new programs, and there's one other that's really important to talk about. Back in October, actually before October, but went really public with it in October, Cuesta College, along with Allen Hancock, launched what was called United Central Coast, making it clear that Cuesta and Allen Hancock were going to pursue bachelor's degrees. Cuesta's was going to be in education, is going to be in education. Allen Hancock's is in a sort of applied business area, business skills, and got some press, quite a bit of press actually, made quite a splash with that announcement. And what this is about from Cuesta's perspective is we've had a teacher pathways grant from the US Department of Education, just ended, and we know that there are a lot of Cuesta students who want to be teachers, who want to be K-12 teachers, actually I should say pre-K now to 12 teachers, and trying to create pathways for those students. And this could be mischaracterized as an anti-Cal Poly move by Cuesta, and that's not the point. The point is that Cal Poly does not currently have the capacity to receive students in teacher pathways programs that Cuesta and Allen Hancock are producing. And so we said, you know what, we'll do it ourselves. We'll have a bachelor's degree in education that allows students to go into licensure programs. So, where we're at with that is that the next round of bachelor's degree proposals it's due later this month. And over the break, over the past few months, a very small team from Cuesta, including a lot of really dedicated people in education in the Applied Behavioral Sciences Division, have been working on this idea of submitting a proposal for a bachelor's degree, in fact, a Bachelor of Arts in Education, to be offered by Cuesta College here on the SLO campus. At the same time, those education faculty, Dean Person and I have been meeting with folks from Cal Poly, trying to coordinate other ways for our students to transfer in teacher pathways. And then finally, that group of faculty have developed an AA, a local degree in liberal studies, that will transfer to Cal Poly as seamlessly as possible. It says under development. The curriculum has been approved. It's just a matter of working out how we're going to offer those courses and how that's going to transfer to Cal Poly. So just wanted you to know where we're at with this. The conversations with Cal Poly continue, and we're really hopeful that we can get a great pathway, a great way for students in SLO County and northern Santa Barbara County who want to be teachers into the profession. We have heard from the county superintendents that the need is about 200 teachers per year, and we're simply not producing those local teachers in the current arrangement. And with that, I will introduce Dan Troy, our Assistant Superintendent and Vice President for Administrative Services. Thank you, everyone.
Well, good morning. How's everybody doing? You all got your reset your alarms. You all got you got one more weekend to get your hair cut, right? Everybody's ready for the term. I think what we're really missing is this spring weather, right? It's like too darn cold right now. But I'm seeing that next it's going to hit the 70s hopefully late next week. So maybe it'll feel a little bit more like San Luis Obispo in the spring. That's what we're all hoping for, right? Okay, I'm going to talk about what you're really here for. I know you want to talk about budget, right? So here we go. I'm the biased guy, right? I think we're in budget. I talk about the budget all the time. So we're having kind of an interesting battle at the state right now. We have very different dueling estimates of what the state revenue picture looks like between the Legislative Analyst Office, who's the legislators' nonpartisan experts, and the State Department of Finance, who's the official budget shop for the governor. Both have some bad news. The LEO thinks we have a deficit of about $68 billion, which kind of sounds like a lot, doesn't it? And the governor also has some bad news, but it's not nearly as bad. He thinks it's $38 billion. Now, Jason mentioned earlier that, the state economy's been pretty good, so, and he's right, but so why do we have this? We have issues like this because the state income taxes are very progressive, and so we really tax those high income earners a lot, and when the stock market has a bad year, those high income earners we have low capital gains, and that has a disproportionate effect on state revenues, and the 22-year in the stock market, as you may know, was really bad. So that's why those bad figures from 22 are kind of rolling forward. So there's a debate between the two about how quick the recovery is after that. So that forecasting debate is a very, very crucial one. So again, neither number is good, but as proposed by the governor this week, his number is much, much more manageable because the state, in my view, has done quite a good job, or a much better job than they used to do, in terms of building up a reserve, or kind of, those chestnuts for a rainy day. In prior years, they never had those kind of reserves, and now they do. And in fact, there's a Prop 98 rainy day fund, which affects our funding, and the governor's able to borrow funds that were put away for years like this. And that, at least in his proposal, that has avoided any cuts for us as proposed. So that's good news, relatively speaking, good news. The bad news is that there's not a lot of money, so there's not a lot proposed. So that's it. That's the whole budget that's proposed by the governor for 24-25. And you can see a COLA, like you have to squint to see it, right, is 0.76%, and a little bit for enrollment growth. And I'm going to use a technical term here, so bear with me. If you put those two together, that's not a lot of percent. That's not much. So I think what we're going to see is a lot of debate throughout the spring, a lot of scrutiny on those forecasting numbers, because that's the whole ball game going forward. Looking ahead, very critical year coming up. I don't think I've ever stood up here and told you that the funding year isn't critical, and I'm not going to start today, I guess. But next year's budget, whatever we get in revenue from our funding formula next year, sets our permanent hold harmless floor going forward forever. So propping up the numbers we have this year, increased FTS, all that really matters a lot, because that's helping us beef up that number for next year. Obviously, we want that floor to be as high as possible. I should point out that the district, we've been aware of all these SEFF issues. We've talked about a fiscal cliff and all those kinds of things. So we have been storing our walnuts for a rainy day. We do have very good reserves. So I think we're about as well prepared as we can be for any funding downfalls. But so we're looking pretty good, I think. And I will note that if the state still does have some arrows in the quiver, so if the forecasting doesn't look good over the next few months, they have some tricks up their sleeve. They haven't used any deferrals yet. They do have more reserves. I think they have some things they can do to lessen the impact. So usually I'm like Mr. Gloom and Doom, but now I'm telling you, it's like, don't worry, it's not that bad. Other things that are going on, the Planning and Budget Committee did some work this fall in terms of coming up with recommendations for Dr. Stearns to create a planning and governance task force. How many people sit on lots of committees? Or have sat on lots of committees? I think I'm on every one of them. I can't attend them all because I'm on so many, but we do spend a lot of time in this. We spend a lot of time on paperwork, meeting the provisions of our planning calendar and all that. And I think for those of you who've been here, I think a long time, you know that a lot of these processes were created at a time when Cuesta's accreditation rating wasn't so good, right? We needed these processes to plug in to make sure that we could be compliant with the ACCJC regulations. And everyone that's come in from accreditors, from the IEPI groups and all that, who's taken a look at this, have said, nice work, guys. You're very compliant. That's a lot of good provisions. But is it sustainable? That's an awful lot of work, an awful lot of time on committee, a lot of paper to push. You know, how can you manage all this forever going forward? Well, as if they've heard us, the ACCJC has recently revised their standards. So there used to be about 120 standards that were very much focused on compliance, right? Do you have a policy? Do you follow a policy? Show us the agenda committee meeting where you met and talked about the policy, and then you're compliant. And now they're down to 30. And they're mostly focused on outcome-oriented activities, right? What have you done? How have you addressed issues? What is the outcome of that? So with that, I think it's a really good time to take a look at our planning and governance and to refresh it a bit. So we'll be looking at issues like how to do our new processes that align with the revised ACCG standards, the relevance of our processes to outcomes. So not just we had a meeting and here's the agenda showing that we talked about it. Streamlining processes, can we consolidate some committees, really focus the attention of our work on the issues that matter. So that's something we'll be working on this year. So if you're interested, I'm sure there's a place for you. What else? Measure L. So this last week, in fact, we met with our rating agencies to get our new ratings for our 4th issuance of Measure L, and this is, of course, the final issuance for Measure L. Good news for those who love budget news. We had our ratings upgraded from Moody's and S&P. So come on, that's good. That's good. And the good news to talk to our community about that is that does lower the rate that they pay for our bonds. So we save our taxpayers some money. That's a good thing. Major things going on. If you drove into campus today, you probably saw some steel up by the front of the campus where the old admin building used to be. That's the new campus center is going up. It's very exciting to see that go vertical. That will be ready next year. We're probably going to move in. It kind of depends on the testing and all that, but probably the summer of '25. So very excited about the progress of that. The signage and wayfinding project is near completion. In fact, I think it is complete on the North County campus. Over the next couple of weeks, you'll see the directional signs put up on the SLO campus, as well as the new building signs as well. So we're going to find a lot of students who've been lost on campus for 20 years or so. So, you know, be kind to them, you know. And again, as we move into the head of the 4th issuance, we do have a couple of major projects there. We're building a new instructional building on the North County campus, and we're doing a major renovation of the 3100 building, so everyone there will be in tents for a couple of weeks. So here's some pictures. Again, that's what the campus center will look like. The drawings are always great, right? I mean, hopefully it looks like that when it's done. That's the back end of it. There's my office on the top right. I just wanted to show you where my office was. We're going to have coffee piped up to my office. We've got that plumbing sorted out. Here's some examples of the signage. This is all North County, but it will look fairly similar on the SLO campus as well. So it looks pretty good. That's what a rendering of what the instructional building will look like. And I will note, Jason Curtis mentioned the Phantom FTS. I think I see a couple here, right there on the walkway. So we've identified. No. So, okay, if that's too soon, I'm gonna eliminate my Kennedy joke as well. Maybe fall. Okay, so that's all I got. So let's do this. I'm very excited for the spring, and I think one way or another, I think we do believe that our FTS numbers are up, so I really appreciate all the work everybody's doing with that. Let's go and have a great term. And, well, thank you. Thanks to you very much. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Assistant Superintendent and Vice President of Human Resources, Melissa Richerson.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I wanted to just give you all an update. HR has finally filled all of our vacant positions. So, yes, very exciting. Let's hope we can keep that going for a while. So there might be some new faces if you come into HR, so feel free to introduce yourself and just welcome everyone there. Primarily, I'm going to talk about new Senate bills. There are a lot of them, so there's about 5 that are applicable to Cuesta. So Senate Bill 553 puts the requirement to have a working plan for workplace violence prevention. This includes training. It requires cooperation and collaboration with the unions and public safety. So there's very limited information about how to start this work, but it does have to be in place by July 1. So we are anticipating putting together a group to begin working on this and developing the plan and taking it through our governance process by the end of January. The group will be identified, not the draft. Just want to make sure that's clarified. The next one really impacts our short-term, temporary, and student employees. So they've always been able to accrue sick leave for a maximum of 40 hours. Now it is 80, so the good news for them. And they are now allowed to use up to 40 hours per calendar year. So very good benefit for our temporary student workers. Senate Bill 700 makes it unlawful for any employer to discriminate for off-campus private cannabis use. This does not mean that you can possess or use while on campus. So that's a new law, effective January 1. It's a little bit odd to put in here, but it does impact some people, and there is interest in this, so I thought I'd share. Senate Bill 848 is reproductive loss leave. So you, if you suffer a failed adoption, a failed surrogacy, a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an unsuccessful assisted reproduction, you are allowed a maximum of 5 days with documentation to be taken out of your sick leave. So this is a brand new law. It is effective January 1. So just keep that in mind as well. And the last thing, the Title IX regulations. I don't know about all of you, but if you remember in fall, we were anticipating in October we would be getting this. We're still waiting. And there is really no anticipated timeline. Originally it was March, now they've moved it back to May and possibly October. So we are still in a holding pattern for new Title IX regulations. So as soon as I have an update for you all, I will share it. But stay tuned for that. So with that, I will introduce our Assistant Superintendent Vice President of Student Success and Support Programs, Dr. Elizabeth Coria.
Good morning. Happy New Year, everyone. Okay, so just a few updates from Student Success and Support Programs. So our area has been actively working this fall semester. If you recall last opening day, we talked about Cuesta College wanting to be a caring campus institution. We were going to be working on a series of coaching sessions throughout the semester. So our staff has been participating this fall semester in those coaching sessions, and I'd like to acknowledge the work of the staff and bringing forward some of those. The model of the framework of Caring Campus was really to build that sense of connectedness from our students so they can feel welcomed at the institution, which will return on our retention and our enrollment management to really help that sense of belonging at the institution. So that was really the framework and the model of being a Caring Campus institution. So we have been working this entire fall semester of bringing that forward. So I really want to acknowledge the work of our classified professionals and some of our managers that were really involved in a lot of that work that was happening this fall semester. And part of that work was at the end was to develop an implementation plan of how Caring Campus was going to then be integrated within the campus community. And it wasn't just going to be a one-time thing. It needed to be support from the campus, support from our management team or leadership team, from the executive team as well. So part of that was putting forward, again, a 90-day short-term implementation team, but also a plan moving for us for long-term. So part of that solution, as you've seen, some of us are wearing name tags. It's just a basic behavioral commitments from the institution is that all of our Cuesta College employees would be wearing name tags. And that would be for our students to be able to identify us as employees, also be able to direct who they would need help from or assistance from as they're walking around campus or whatnot, but just having that presence of a name tag was really an important piece of that. So that's part of the process now in our onboarding piece that we're working on establishing as employees get brought on, is getting name tags to all of our Cuesta College staff. Also to identify what's called the 10-foot rule. The 10-foot rule was if you see a student 10 feet away from you that looks maybe lost, looks like they don't know where they're going, it's stop and say, hey, is there anything that I can do to help you today? Or can I help direct you somewhere? And it wasn't just a matter of just like, oh yeah, you see that building over there, make a left. But no, it was more of that, let me walk you down there, let's walk you exactly to where you need to go on the first day of class. Let me go ahead and, do you need to go to financial aid? Sure, we can go ahead and show you where that is. So that was adopting that 10-foot rule throughout as you're having, walk throughout campus and you're seeing students lost throughout, just be able to help them out. So that was another commitment that was brought forward. Also warm handoffs. So as we're having conversations with students and we're referring them to particular maybe departments, is rather than saying, oh yeah, just go down to financial aid. Well, how about we walk them down to financial aid, or we be able to build that networking and social rapport with other departments to be able to say, oh, okay, let me walk you down to so-and-so, or let me make that connection and pick up the phone and refer them down to so-and-so, so that when that individual gets to that particular department, that student the individual is already waiting for that student to be able to come in, to be able to do that warm handoff to that student. Again, to be able to feel that sense of belonging. And then the welcoming students, that was really big as we're coming to a new semester, right? We have our welcome huts, we have our welcome tables, but it's really what are those types of activities that we can really embrace to really make our students feel welcome to the institution as they're coming in. So that was another commitment. And then having directories, and then directories on campus, but then a really strong knowledge of other departments. So that was it's a professional development that would come in to ensure that as transitions of staff come and go, that our areas are informed and are aware so that they can also know to be able to help students in the process and know what departments and what services we have available to be able to help support that student, rather than necessarily, oh, that's not part of what I do. That's someone in admissions or registration that can help you, or that's only financial aid that can help you. So it's really trying to help more of that holistic approach. So that is some of the work, again, that was being started off with, and we are moving forward with that work already as we speak, and we are going to continue on to embrace that. The leaders, if you saw also on the name prior to, they're going to continue to meet and engage and move forward with Caring Campus with even more plans as we move forward with this. So it's always the challenge of how can you all continue then to bring Caring Campus, that model framework, even in your classrooms as we embrace this, not from a student services perspective, but as an institution framework. I also wanted just to bring some updates in regards to student conduct and discipline and the student support resolution. Some changes you might be foreseeing this particular semester. As you all might be familiar with our student incident report and was also a wellness report. It used to be a one form. Now we've actually separated it into two separate forms. So when you have any type of student code of conduct violation report that you do want to report in, there is a separate form for that now moving forward. And then there's what used to be the wellness form is now actually what's called the student support referral form. As we now work forward more through our guided pathways work, and we're getting really more into retention and intervention, the student support referral form will also assist with being able to provide any type of referrals to our area with regards to basic needs. Maybe you have a conversation with a student or a student comes to you on is in regards to basic needs. that referral system will be really easy for you to fill out that report form to our office, and then we will then start the process of following up with that student and getting them connected with our basic needs. As we're happy to report that we will have a basic needs coordinator starting on the 22nd, but we have a full place, a process, yay, a process to be able to get those really critical, important services to our students. If you're having a student who might be academically challenged, maybe they need tutoring support, maybe you're seeing some issues with time management, you can also use that reporting form to report those issues so that we can then start following up and get in contact with that student, get them the resources that they need as well. And then obviously, yes, the wellness concerns are still there as well, so that we can follow up with them, do any check-ins, get them over to, if they need to, student health services support as well. So it's just more involving those intervention pieces early on and making that process a lot more easier for you, but also that we can get connected to the students to get them the support that they need. And then guided pathways work, we are continuing with transforming that student experience. If you all recall from our last work, our teams have been actively working with guided pathways. We had 4 teams, one that was looking at our CCC Apply application, one that was looking at our orientation, another group looking at referrals and resources, and then our other group that was looking at early intervention and retention. So a lot of work that was going on this fall semester was now to put in actual plans in place for the spring. So happy to report that our CCC Apply team now has developed that part of that welcoming letter through the onboarding piece of a new student, will also then, again, being more intentional with the processes and services that we have available, is asking students up front, what services do they need? What type of basic needs do they need? What type of technology needs do they need? What support services do they need? So that we can then reach out to that student rather than letting the student figure it out, having the student try to figure out where is basic needs, or where is EOPS, or where is financial aid. It's us being intentional and reaching out at that student, but we needed to get that information up front from the student so that we can follow up with those calls and those interventions early on in their life cycle journey. So that is in the planning process of going into implementation this spring semester. We also have now an in-person orientation process that is starting off with our fast track registrations. This is now embarking us to relook at our online orientation and look at the content and whether it's relevant, whether we need to update it and make it a lot more interactive and much more relevant to our students, where it's not just sitting down, reading and listening to a lot of different information that might not be relevant. But it's also very specific and targeted to students in general populations, whether they're new students, high school students, re-entry students, our continuing and our traditional students. So it's very much tailored to our students in general. So that is also to come. Our referrals and resource team, so we've also got a process now where we are sending out notifications as part of the welcome, is that we introduce them to their success teams, so the students are aware of who to contact for resources in the event that they do need some sort of an issue or a question. They have the contact for their student success team point of contact. And then our early intervention retention team is actively planning for all of these little activities to look into, looking at case management care calls. We're looking at adding and expanding our retention workshops. We're looking at adding and expanding our tutoring support, and then also continuing with our registration events. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna go ahead back and bring back Dr. Stearns for further information. Thank you all.
So my mom and dad spent a combined 82 years teaching and counseling in K-12. So my life has always been centered on the academic calendar. And growing up, my sister and I knew it was close to the end of the school year when they pulled our trailer around to the front yard so we could start packing up for our annual trip to the Sequoias with a group of their colleagues and families. Now, I don't know what you might be envisioning, but I want to set the record straight. This was no ordinary trailer. It was jointly owned by our family, my grandparents, and my uncle. It was 12 feet long, nearly round, And Google shows that it was a 1947 Robin Hood that we purchased from a motor lodge in 1972, complete with a picture of Morro Rock painted on the side. I don't have a great photo of this beauty, but you can get a sense of what it looked like. That is my back there. I'm standing holding the pot lid. You can see a little bit better what this trailer looked like. To put it mildly, my sister and I were completely embarrassed by this thing. We hated when they brought it to the front yard. We hated when people knew it was our campsite. Between the trailer and the 36 ice chests that we had one year with all of those teachers and their families, it was quite the show. But we always loved camping, and what was a cheap, affordable trailer back then would today be considered beautifully vintage. Since beginning my own professional journey in education, I have always been excited not only with the prospect of camping in the summer, but also by the intentional and persistent effort that's underway at Cuesta College to improve institutional outcomes and increase equity of those student outcomes has been recognized by the Aspen Institute. By focusing on student success and lifting up models that work, the Aspen Prize aims to celebrate excellence, advance a focus on equitable student success, and stimulate replication of effective culture and practice. As President Obama said, it's basically the Oscars for community colleges. The Aspen Prize honors teaching and learning, certificate and degree completion, transfer and bachelor's attainment, workforce success, access, and equity for students of color and students from low-income backgrounds. Our application was successfully submitted and is now under review by the Aspen Prize Selection Committee. It's a group of 16 higher education experts, and 25 institutions will be selected to hold a phone interview. This group of 25 colleges is not publicly announced, but from this group, 10 finalists will be selected for a 2-day campus visit. A jury of prominent leaders in business, politics, policy, journalism, and other relevant fields reviews both the quantitative and qualitative analysis of each institution to select a winner. Finalists with distinction and noticeable improvers, which they call rising stars, which will be announced fall of 2025. In December, a group of 7 Cuesta leaders attended the Complete College America 2023 annual convening titled Future Ready. For those unfamiliar with Complete College America, I think of it as achieving the dream for both 4-year and 2-year institutions. Their mission is to scale highly effective structural reforms and promote policies that improve student success. The convening included sessions on policy, but was primarily focused on practice. Faculty and administrators shared numerous sessions on what is working to improve student outcomes at their institutions and, in some cases, across their state. There was also sharing of what is not proven to be effective, and we had opportunity to learn from those experiences as well. For the Cuesta participants, the convening really affirmed the case management model of student support services that is now in place and supporting areas of study at Cuesta College. It affirmed the importance of ongoing faculty development and equity-focused education. And for me, it resounded the importance of framing our equity gaps as institutional performance gaps and not student performance gaps. Institutional performance gaps that we collectively and intentionally seek to eliminate. I encourage you to join me in viewing our work through this lens of institutional performance gaps. It has been effective in changing my perspective of our institutional data, that contained in our Student Equity and Achievement Plan and in our strategic plan, and it's increased the urgency I feel to address our institutional performance gaps. The vast number of articles sharing effective ways of integrating AI into teaching and encouraging embracing artificial intelligence as a reality continues to grow. The Cuesta College Library team and our instructional designer, Cynthia Wilsusen, are maintaining up-to-date resources and trainings on AI. This is no small feat. Right now, if you Google AI higher education, 720 billion results in 0.3 seconds. The open forum Friday on AI highlighted ways that faculty have adopted AI into their pedagogies and assignments. It was inspiring to hear the ways that Cuesta faculty were leaning into this significant technology advancement and adapting to ensure students are well prepared for the workplace changed by AI. AI is not only impacting the teaching and learning experience at Cuesta College and all of higher education, it is also providing advancement in student success supports. Big data AI models are being employed to identify students who will benefit from informed intervention support early in their education journey. Our areas of study support teams will soon have robust big data and AI supplementing faculty reports of needed support to guide and design the delivery of just-in-time supports of students. Google has been behind the development of the Data for Good movement for 10 years. Their Data Kind has recently released a beta version of their free widget for public higher education that uses the information that already lives in our student information record, which for us is Banner. It identifies students who will benefit from intentional support and is a supplement to faculty early alerts. As we think about the possibilities of AI in higher education, this application resonates strongly for me. Years ago, my own dissertation research explored first-term course failure as a big data element to support advising. I very much enjoyed the opportunity to speak with the Google DataKind representatives that were at Complete College America conference last month. And I'm excited by the research findings supporting the use of big data and AI to increase success rates of students through identifying risk early. Last week, the Board of Trustees approved a proposal from Mike Mogul, who will embark on a data science and Python sabbatical with intent to bring data science course forward at Cuesta. This is another strong example of how Cuesta College is embracing emerging technology in the creation of new programs of study. We will soon be training students for this evolving field, even as we implement the technology for institutional improvement. Sticking with the theme of technology, we are implementing changes to reduce the volume of email received by employees. Starting immediately, general Cuesta announcements will be sent twice weekly on Tuesdays and Thursdays midday. Announcements received by 11 a.m. will be included, and those received after the deadline will be part of the next scheduled Cuesta announcement. Construction alerts and emergency communication will not change and will continue to be sent on an as-needed basis. This is the first change in college-wide communication designed to streamline communication and ease the burden of the inbox. More changes are likely as we adapt to advancing technology and strive to implement efficiency solutions. The recommendation from the 16-week calendar task force was shared with the college community at the October 13th open forum. The thoughtful questions raised at the forum were among the many explored by the task force in drafting their recommendation. The recommendation is now ready for detailed review and feedback from Cabinet, the Calendar Committee, Academic Senate Council, College Council, and Planning and Budget Committee. Many of you have heard this several times, but it is very important to note that the change of the academic calendar from our current 18 and 17 week schedule to 16 weeks has very little administrative impact. The change is most significant to academic programs and faculty, and also has potential to alter timelines for governance. It's important to note that this aligns well with student preference. It may be aligned with the proposed 15+1 calendar at Cal Poly, and is subject to negotiation with the exclusive representative CCFT. More to come. External impacts. There are many amazing ways in which San Luis Obispo County and Cuesta College are special. It's truly a great place to live, work, and learn. Yet as a public institution of higher education, we are not free from external impacts. As we begin spring 2024, there are still lingering effects of the pandemic. Across the globe, there are conflicts, war, famine, and unrest. The mental health crisis persists. Economic uncertainty is expanding, and this is a presidential election year. This long list doesn't include the incredibly delayed release of the new FAFSA, the resignation of 2 presidents of elite universities following congressional testimony on anti-Semitism, nor the renewed focus in the media on free speech, particularly in higher education. It's vastly important that we are mindful of these external impacts as they are borne upon us individually, collectively as Cuesta College, and as they impede our students. It can help to acknowledge that some moments, hours, and even days are tough. Commiseration builds compassion and community. Remember to encourage one another. Let's continue to pursue kindness and express appreciation when kindness is extended to us. Invest in your well-being. As Allison would tell us, move. Do those things that make you feel both good and happy. Remember your why, the reason you dedicated your professional life to higher education service. Tap into employee resources, and if you are unsure what is available to you, please contact HR. Know you are valued and deeply appreciated. And now I am pleased to introduce our Jedi Academy facilitators who will present the next portion of our morning's convocation, Dr. Lara Baxley, Katie Dittmer, Dr. Matthew Davis, and Dr. Rachel Barnett.
Good morning again, everybody, at least from me. I'm Matthew Davis. In addition to being the coordinator for faculty professional development, I teach in the English division, and I'm going to allow each of my fellow co-facilitators for the Jedi Academy to briefly introduce themselves. And then the purpose of this presentation is to share with you some of the work that has been done in the Jedi Academy, as well as some exciting new developments that are happening this year and will take us into next year. So let me hand the mic over to.
Hi, I'm Katie Dittmer. I think I know a lot of you. I am in the psychology department. Happy New Year to everyone, and yeah, I will hand it over to Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Barnett, and I'm part-time faculty both in college success studies and in English.
Hello there, I'm Lara Baxley, and I teach in chemistry, and let's go ahead and get started with our presentation. So we're going to give you some news and some updates about the Jedi Academy. So first of all, why do we have a Jedi Academy? So if you're not familiar, Jedi stands for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. This is an academy, an intensive academy for all faculty, part-time, full-time, service faculty, instructional faculty, and the reason that we do the Jedi Academy is I was trying to remember what term Jill used, to narrow our institutional gaps. Thank you. So if we think about college, college was really created for a certain type of person. A little closer? Yeah. It seems so loud.
I know, but
thanks.
They're letting us know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I can't see. Okay, thank you. Okay, so college was created by a certain kind of person for a certain kind of person, and not that there was necessarily anything possibly, nefarious about it, but this is what our college classrooms look like for a long time, and the system was set up to help them to succeed. And those who did succeed went on to become the new teachers who taught in the same model that they learned in. And we have all learned in that model, and so when we become teachers, we perpetuate the ways that we were taught how to teach. And how many times have you said, well, this worked for me in college, so this is what I do in my classes? Well, it might not work for all of your students. And so what we do in JEDI is we talk about some really practical ways that we can change our teaching practices to be more inclusive, to help strengthen students' sense of belonging and represent their cultures, help them feel welcomed, and so forth.
So one of the things we like to do when we have an opportunity at opening day is to acknowledge those who have recently completed the JEDI program. So our last cohort was during the summer of 2023, and if any of these individuals are here this morning, if you would please stand for us so we can acknowledge you. I see a few folks around the room. Yes, thank you. Let's acknowledge the work that these individuals put in over the past summer. We asked them to give up several days to attend synchronous Zoom sessions led by the four of us. They have homework assignments and larger summative projects due at the end. I appreciate their endeavors, and I'm really excited also to add them, they're not yet on the list, but to our long list of those who've been through the program over the past several years. So, thank you for all of you who have been through the program. Thank you for those of you who are considering the program coming up later this semester. More on that later. And with that, I think I'm going to turn things over to Rachel Barnett.
So we're going to walk you through some of the feedback that we've had from participants and their students. But first, I just want to draw your attention to this graphic. What it lays out for us are the 6 elements or precepts that we use in the academy to guide us as we are thinking about our courses, thinking about the changes that we want to make. And so we're working on welcoming our students, validating them, making it clear that they belong here, that we are focusing on representation in our classes, that we're demystifying things about college, and we're creating partnerships with them so that they know that they can come to us. And we are deconstructing actively any barriers that we are participating in, oftentimes unknowingly, to make those institutional gaps persist. We want to. So these are the things, we're gonna now give you some detail and some feedback from both participants, people who went through the academy, and the effect that it has had on their students. So I'm gonna hand this, I think, to Katie.
Sorry, I'm going to need to log in real quick.
We're gonna do some awkward technology. Nobody recognizes this, right?
We had a little freak out this morning when I was in the shower and realized we had not captioned the videos. So, sorry. We fixed it, but we had kind of a funky. I remember to bring my phone. Don't save that, no. Okay. now we should be able to watch our first video. I can't tell what my mouse is doing because it's not showing on here. Oh, there it is. You see it?
It was way.
Oh, yeah, see, it's not. Sorry, everybody. I know I'm between you and lunch. It's not letting me. So, oh. Ah. Something is happening here that I don't know what it is, and I'm sorry, I've screwed everything up.
Thank you. Thank you for helping us feel like we belong. Yeah, we belong.
We might have to play the video that doesn't have the folks.
I know, but I
Now it's all gone.
it's all gone, and I need somebody.
Someone is coming. The next slide has your original videos. Oh, the power is gone? Yeah. It's there, it's there.
I shut out of the I thought I had to close out of the show because I couldn't see it.
We might just have to go back to the presentation and play the videos that are in there.
We're currently demystifying the idea that it all goes well.
Let's get rid of stuff here, and next one's this. Does that bring it back?
Okay, we're at the beginning.
We get to review. Okay, keep going. Okay. Right there, right there, right
And
there.
then go to the next one.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Sarah Miller. I'm English faculty. I was in the first Jedi cohort, and that's meant that I've had time to think about and integrate elements of what I learned while going through the Jedi process. One of the elements that I'd like to talk about is responding to student emails. It seemed like such a small thing to change when I was in Jedi, but it's had a big impact on my students and on me. We had an assignment to practice responding to student emails. I thought at the time, why would I need to practice responding to emails? I do it all the time. I get so many of them. But what Jedi helps you see is some of the reasons why you're responding the way you are and how to make even the simplest response more equitable and more welcoming so that students have a better sense of belonging. For me, this meant when I open a student email, I think about why they're sending me the email. Maybe it's because I haven't been as clear in the directions as I thought, even though it might be posted in a couple of places. Maybe I am being clear, but they're having a hard time navigating the digital workspace. Who knows? There's lots of reasons. But what I'm grateful for is that they're reaching out. So I try to preface my emails with something about thank you for emailing. Or I'm so glad you're keeping track of your grades. That's an important part of being successful in college. Those things remind me and the student about what we're doing here. We're trying to be successful. That's the ultimate goal. So instead of kind of tisking myself about trying to get through emails and being as quick as I can, I take a moment and I think about what I want that student to feel when they read the email. And I want them to feel like I'm a resource, someone they can reach out to, someone that wants to be supportive of what their endeavors are. So by opening with something warm and welcoming, I hope, that in turn makes the whole classroom experience feel that way for those students. I've had positive feedback from students, and I feel better about responding to emails and talking to students through digital spaces because of that small adjustment.
And what Sarah illustrates here is how a small change can make a really big difference, not just in your student success, but in the climate of your class and your feelings about teaching. And so what we thought we would do is take just a couple of the precepts and give you some outcomes or experiences people have had. So we're focusing really on the qualitative experience, which if you talk to anyone who's been through Jedi, you'll probably hear similar stories. So here is from a past participant. I've been more aware of student needs and ways I can help. I find that I'm having more fun in and out of class since assisting students is more of a joy than a drag. I can still maintain high standards while treating students kindly and respectfully. And of course, this impacts how they treat you as well. Here are from some of the students who have had instructors who have gone through the program. I felt like you have cared more for your students and their success than any other professor I've had. You were always open to working with students and to help them however you could. Your motivation to make all your students succeed and learn really shows. I want to say thank you so much for being such a great teacher and caring. I feel it's hard to come by teachers that care about their students' success and well-being. So a lot of focus on this awareness they have that the teacher is thinking about their success. The precept of creating partnerships and welcoming. So from a past participant, many students have expressed their appreciation for my openness and commitment to listen, which I feel was created by the tone cultured through the changes promoted by Jedi. As students have openly shared experiences and concerns with me because they knew I cared and they could trust me. So from the students, the class had a very welcoming environment and I felt I could always ask questions and reach out for help when needed. You shared your personal experiences. Understanding who your professor is as a human helps understand the material better. I met someone in the second week of your class in a group activity. He's become one of my closest friends at Cuesta, and our class just felt like a happy little community. That's in a class of 110 people.
So we were fortunate to be informed, I think it was last February, by Dr. Jason Curtis and Dr. Araceli Espinoza-Wade, that there was this opportunity to apply for a culturally responsive pedagogy and practices grant. And so with the help of the amazing Lexi Bell, I think who's in the back row, we put together this proposal for 2 years of continuation and expansion of the Jedi program, and received nearly $300,000 to keep the program going and strong, make it better, make it bigger. And so some of what that grant is supporting is us here today talking about Jedi and the continuation of the Jedi program. We'll be offering our next sort of cohort opportunity for faculty to go through the Jedi Academy during this spring semester, and we'll have funding to continue that again next year. Participants are paid for their participation, and that's an important way to sort of recognize the value and the work that goes into making these kinds of changes in our curricula. It will also support, and this is going to roll out next year, mini grants. So for folks who've been through the Academy who have recognize that there's more work to be done, this is a way to sort of incentivize that work and support folks for taking on the additional work of bringing other classes up to sort of speed and making sure that they sort of help ensure the institutionalization of those Jedi precepts. We're going to be training some new co-facilitators who can step into the roles that we currently occupy going forward. And most importantly, we've begun this process of creating a community of practice that brings together past Jedi participants and again, pays them for their time to recognize the value of the work that they do.
So just a little bit about the community of practice. So one of the things that happens in the Jedi Academy is that we talk a lot about theories and concepts, and we also talk about sort of practical ways we can bring them into our classes. And we talk about so many ways, right? So it can be overwhelming to think about what you're going to do and how you're going to experiment and how you're going to try out different things with your students. And so the community of practice, we met starting this past fall. We had 3 meetings that were sort of organized on sort of general topics. And we invited past participants to come, and we get to talk about the things we've tried and the ways in which they've worked and the ways in which they aren't working. We're getting new ideas from people. We're getting energized. We're getting supported. We are using these opportunities to dive deeper into things and to bring questions and solutions. Like sometimes we do have problems that we're experiencing. Sometimes we have like, this worked really great, right? We want to share it. And we're sharing it together, and it helps us be brave when we are making those big and sometimes very nerve-wracking changes to our classes. So we're really pleased that we have the support for the community of practice, and we drink some coffee, we eat some donuts, we talk about some good stuff, and we're gonna keep doing it. So this is one of the things that happens when you join and complete the Jedi Academy, right? You become part of this together, and that makes us better educators all together when we can do it with support.
Hi everyone, I'm Gavi Cuarenta from the Math Division. The Jedi Academy has helped me make my classroom a more equitable learning space by giving me concrete resources that have helped me build community with both my students and colleagues. I want to share with you some of those tools and resources. So let's go. My syllabus is now more welcoming and more like a statement of partnership. The Basic Needs Survey provided at the Academy is a great tool that has helped me humanize students and helps me go beyond knowing a name and a major. The team collaboration around creating culturally responsive content was especially beneficial because this task can seem daunting to complete alone. In fact, one of the major gains from the Academy for me was a great community of practice. I feel energized to know that there are so many faculty who are embarking in this equity journey. It feels great not to be alone. I strongly recommend that all faculty join the Equity Force and complete the Academy. May the Force be with you.
Okay, so is Jedi for you? The answer is yes. But if you're not convinced, let me tell you a little bit more about Jedi. So Jedi is process-based. It infuses throughout our courses it infuses equity throughout our courses. And it is an energized, supportive environment for making pedagogical changes and practical strategies for implementation. One thing I hear a lot from past Jedi participants is how practical the advice is. You know, we go to a lot of workshops where we're told what the problem is, and then we run out of time by the time it comes to the solution. And this, we're gonna tell you what the problem is, because that's important, but we're also gonna help you with solutions. You get access to shared resources and ongoing support. Jedi co-facilitators and your peers who have gone through the process or are going through it with you are always there to be a resource for you. It is peer-to-peer, and it is a collaborative work environment. All knowledge and experience levels are welcome. If you have never done an equity workshop, you have a space in Jedi Academy. If you have done a dissertation on equity, please join us. The facilitators learn from the participants all the time. It's a great way to get started or to continue to grow your own equity practices. Plus, you get a cool t-shirt. Oh, I think I'm on the next slide too.
It was really powerful, I think, to share and to learn from my colleagues, especially as a non-instructional faculty. So having that space to reflect and really see how intentional so many of our instructors are being in making their courses more accessible to students. And I think for me, as a non-instructional faculty, and not participating in anything like this particularly, right? I think I learned that, which was really powerful for me, that really counseling is equity work. What I do is, and there's so much room for improvement. And I think that we get kind of stuck. We think we know, we think we know, we're up and hip on all the things that are happening, and our students share so much and so vulnerably with us. It was really humbling and great to see how many different areas I can continue to improve and make myself and the resources that we have in counseling and just the educational planning tools more accessible, and really modeling that for the campus. I think we have more work to do, and it's exciting that we're supported.
Sorry that Heidi got stuck there. So I do want to thank Sarah Miller, Gabby Quarenta Gallegos, and Heidi Weber for providing those videos for us. So if you are interested in joining us, our next cohort starts very soon on Friday, February 2nd. We still have a few spots available. It has been a rather popular academy this year with us moving it into spring semester from fall or from summer when we used to do it, but we do still have some spots left. You can look in your email, look for emails from the Academic Senate President, from Alex, and also you can scan that QR code there, or you can look at that tiny URL. We are taking registration until next Friday, and then we'll get you started the following Monday on your Canvas content. So for each of the synchronous Zoom sessions we have, there's also content in Canvas. So it's like a hybrid course. And also important, all participants who attend all of the sessions and complete all of the required work will receive a $1,000 stipend and a cool t-shirt and a sticker and other good stuff.
And a community.
Yes. All right, we're gonna leave this thought here with you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lara and Matthew and Katie and Rachel. I'm going to ask the Jedi Academy participants to please stand. We want to recognize and appreciate your investment to center equity in your course curriculum and instruction. Thank you. I don't know what it means that you're sitting around the edges and none of you are in the middle. I committed to the exec team that I would not duplicate their topics. Specifically, I vowed to stay away from budget and enrollment, but I have to say, well done. Over the last year and a half, we've really emphasized the importance of each of us being active in engaging and telling the story of Cuesta College in our neighborhoods and in our community. I talked about how if each of us brought one student, our enrollment would reach the pre-pandemic level, and I appreciate that many, many of you have shared your stories of bringing in a student or the ways that you have talked about Cuesta with someone in our community. Thank you. We are seeing the power of personal interaction making a difference, so please continue. I invite you now to join me in thanking those who made opening day possible. Clark and the CPAC team, Richie and Lynn in the marketing department, the executive team, the facilities and custodial crews, Todd and Cindy, our interpreters, we appreciate you, and the Jedi Academy facilitators. Congratulations again to our award winners, Scott, Bob, Alex, and Silvio. So the faculty hour and area meetings will begin 15 minutes after we conclude, so it looks like that will be right at 11 o'clock. Lunch will follow at noon at the 5000 complex near the cafeteria entrance. As we close, remember the work you do matters. Your commitment and service to Cuesta College students is truly profound. It makes a difference for our community. It changes the lives of students, which impacts generations. Thank you for being exceptional. Have a great spring 2024.